laugh. At least if I'm a drag them, they gonna laugh about it. And if they call me corny, and if they call me silly or ignorant, then so what? At least the people that came in there that needed a good laugh for that night, they got a good laugh out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because misery do love company, and I
I
can't
think the
express that
only
enough.
person, like real talk, I know I've been, cussing up a storm and carrying on, but I think the only person that I have since, things have gone, I think the only person I have like literally gone to hell with, and she's a child, but it's just something, it because you can do something don't mean you should, right?
Right.
And when you I don't think people realize it's one thing to say that you feel something about someone, and it's one thing to try to make other people believe that about them. Like I
Yeah.
could say all day, Kappa's a piece of shit. Piece of fucking
Hmm.
shit, Kappa, you piece of shit.
Yep. Scumbag.
But when I go and try to rally other people, hey,
The
thank you for
truths.
talking. When I rally
Yep.
other people to try to believe that about you, and not only that about you, but that's something that is detrimental. Like homegirl on the forklift making that money, honey. I know that forklift sound out here, girl. Get it in, baby. Get that money. But it Rizzy, like it's just when you like it was just driving me crazy because she would be doing that one thing. Even you called me, you was like, hey, I said, I don't want to hear it because somebody is when you I warned her, right? I literally warned her. I was like, listen, go on, do your thing. You're a kid under me. I got kids older than you. Go on, do your thing.
Hmm.
I don't want you to know that. I don't want you to know that side of me, right? Don't play in my face. I don't want you to know that side of me. And I was hoping the little girl was going, like, you know what I'm saying? Just keep kick it pushing. And then later on down the line, you know, I had already discerned in my spirit, like, that she can't call me auntie again. That's not one I'm taking on as an honorary niece. It ain't gonna happen. And I'm pretty sure she don't give a fuck. But then it was
Hmm.
in that moment that she heard me say we're not doing that auntie niece thing. It was in that moment that she began to rather the truth to say I was dangerous, I was evil, I was, and I was like that. See, shit like that I can't mess with. When you go,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like if you felt all these things, all of the things, then you shouldn't have been in my space because I'm not going to be.
And
And
that's what I wanted.
it's okay for you to feel that way, but you're trying to use your money and your influence to see who you can get to feel that way about me. And I don't dig that at all. I think that's some sucker shit. I
Right.
think that's so, and it goes back to us. I'm sorry, Kappa, but I just don't see that in other communities. I don't see other communities saying, with my money, I'm going to have someone think that you, who ain't doing nothing to me in this moment, is a person who needs to be vilified. That's crazy.
And I have to agree with you. Like when I look at certain people, you can just see it's like an aura
The
around
evil
them.
on
And you
them.
can see it. Yeah, you can see good, you can see evil, you can see indifference. And some people, a lot of people, like they barely they won't admit it
They
on
barely
this on
alive
the internet.
themselves. They are
They
barely
barely
alive.
making it right. They barely making it themselves. They barely alive. They don't really feel happy. They don't feel content. They don't feel that stuff. So sometimes they end up writing checks they ass can't cash or can't tolerate. And but when I called you about Rizzy, it was because I was afraid she was gonna hurt herself. Because I knew I said when I seen that beef, I said Keyona is Keyona gonna drag this girl to hell. And I was like, man, listen here. I don't think that child could, like me, King, certain people we can just take Poozy. We can take it. You know what I'm saying? Poozy been beat up on her whole life. certain people can just take it and stand, and just be like, you know what, it is what it is. You got one or two things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go live on your ass. I'm gonna put paperwork on you. One or the other. More than likely go live and curse your ass out, right? I don't see that. I don't see that child as being that type of fighter, that type of person. So I just was concerned that she might not take it like
I'm
how
gonna tell you something about.
take
I'm
it.
gonna tell you something about me. Good evening, Van. Let me tell you something about me though. And very rare, and I think this is for everybody, but some people are more in tune than others. This here is for everyday things. This here is your guidance. Your gut is truly your brain. I don't know if y'all know that, but your gut is that what they say. Go with your first mind. That's your gut. That's your first brain. That's your God brain. Your gut. When my gut tells me, and my conscience bothers me. I mean, when I say my me and my biological father, I said, your conscience don't bother you, because I had a lot of things like him, but me and his conscience was totally opposite. He he told me, I made a deal with my conscience. You don't bother me, I ain't gonna bother you. I said, nigga, you crazy.
Right.
Mine has bothered me my whole life, and I'll tell anybody. If I have gone to the depths of hell on you and I haven't said I'm sorry within like 6 months and I know where I can locate you, I ain't wrong. I was giving birth to my daughter. You got to remember, when I left high school, internet had just come out. It was still dialing up. I didn't know where none of my classmates was, right? I messed around in 2000. My conscience would mess with me about a girl I slapped in 7th grade. I slapped that girl because I was angry about a daddy. So she was bragging on her daddy, I was like, and I just was mad because, I wasn't living in the house with mine. I wasn't, being raised. And I just cold said some crazy stuff. And she said something. I just, slapped her. And I remember thinking the principal, he couldn't stand me. So I was like, yeah, I'm in deep shit this time. This man don't like me. And I know I'm wrong. It's 2 left shoes. There was the one day that he was like, both of y'all suspended. And her dad was like, why? And he was like, they both suspended. And I remember once thinking to myself, you should have told that. You should have stood up and said, no, I did this. I started this. And you know what I mean? Da, 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 da. But I really believe, I'm going to be honest with you, I believe that black principal trying to show that white father, man, I run this shit. I really believe that to this day. I ain't going to lie. But it bothered me. It just bothered me. And there I was. Now, mind y'all, I was in 7th grade in like 1991. 91. 2002, I'm in labor. And guess who comes in now as I'm in labor, comes into the emergency?
That girl you slapped.
Man, I'm talking about I'm dilated, I'm this and that. And while I'm sitting there apologizing to this girl, she's like, what? I was like, I didn't know where to find you. I've been wanting to tell you I'm so sorry for it. I don't feel that way about Riz.
Right, I understand.
She'd have got that lady would have got that apology umpteen years prior if I knew how to find her. Every time I say, there is nothing in me that says, and listen, I'm gonna tell you how. Another thing, you wanna soften me up. Mention suicide. I know how it feels. I know exactly. My mama got a letter right now with my name on it. Right, my sister wrote about me in her last day, in her last moments. Right. So anybody who I can't tell you some of the stuff I did and paid for to try to keep somebody alive. Like, no, stick around. I still do. And God forgive me, I don't want to see Rizzy leave her or anything. Anyway, but I ain't going out my way. I done got out of my bed in the middle of the night for cold strangers. I thought when not baby, we like, do you know them people? I'm like, I just think they're gonna go too far this time. I just think they're gonna go, there's something in my spirit. Da, 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 da. You're like, do you know him? I ain't never felt that about Riz. I've never looked at her with people.
Well, and it can't be genuine if it's not on your heart. But what I can tell you is I I don't know. I heard the fear and the panic in her voice. I don't know if I was watching a clip or if I actually seen it. I don't know, but I heard fear and panic in her voice, and it just didn't sound right. It sounded off.
I look at it as manipulation. I just look at it as manipulation.
And it could be there's a lot of good actors and actresses on TikTok as well. It could be. I don't know. I'd rather just, if I'm gonna play, I want to play with the people that grew up where we didn't have like triggers and we didn't have safe spaces and safe rooms and, low tone party, low-fi parties. We didn't have that shit. Like, you better get on in here and grab your 40 out the fridge and go find you somewhere safe to sit till the fight break out. Those are the people I like to go after. Them little young, I don't know, they go too far. I don't want you leaving no note, and saying I caused you, because I be thinking
Never
about
will.
that.
She never will.
And maybe not.
Never
I don't
will.
know, but
It
like,
is.
for example,
It ain't in her. It's not in her DNA.
one of the creators I got into it with is known for saying that they gonna unalive themselves, right?
Those are the
And for
ones.
some,
Those are the ones that never do.
it was Slim.
If you
And I
really,
read,
if somebody did statistics on it without drugs or
they
alcohol being a
do
factor,
not tell you. They normally just do it. They'll leave signs. Like they'll give you something they really treasured. They'll call to have a really good conversation with you. They'll leave you on a real high note because they're euphoric and they know that it's coming to an end for them. So Slim said, did that in Tea Time Live. And I told him, I said, I got in that box because I knew it was coming. I got in that box and I was like, just go do it then.
anybody who want to come up and say knock knock, that's the rule over here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and him too. I don't personally think he would do it intentionally. Again, I tell y'all these people don't be knowing they up here.
Okay, I just mute them immediately.
Yeah. Those are people who manipulate. The only time a Rizzy or a Slim would leave here by their own hand, they didn't mean to do it. Some other third party, whether it be a substance or whatever, it was in play. But they garner that sympathy, and that I think that was the thing that irked me. You got to say knock knock if you want to come up. We ain't letting you up until you say knock knock. But I think that irked me too with her because I was like, there's some people really be suffering because they know how that last phone call is. They know how that last conversation is, and they know that walk. And you playing with this shit, and you playing in people's face. People who've been through it, they don't like that shit.
Man, if you know any veteran, talk to them about the number of people that they know that's ended their life. And most of them will be able to tell you about, probably, depending on how long they served and what units they were in, at least three or four. And now, and with the advent of Facebook and social media and how fast the news travels, cell phones, text messages, group text, you find out about it instantaneous. And you'll be like, I just talked to that person and they seem fine. And I realized over the X amount of years, I talked to them and they wasn't fine. So then when I get a phone call from one of my battles out the clear blue, and and they just going on and on and on, I'd be like, hey, you cool? You know what I'm saying? Because I realize now that they not calling you because they are cool.
Right.
They're calling you because they got to a point where they've accepted what they finna do, and they want to say bye to you without saying bye. They want to relieve you of any guilt you might feel. And it's an honor and it's a dishonor at the same time. It's an honor to be one of the last people to talk to people, but it's also a dishonor because you can overlook some things and you feel guilty because you probably could have prevented some things had you paid attention and not just sat there and went on about your day listening to them, jaw jacking, doing whatever. So I realized that my words have a strong impact on people.
Right.
And even though, like when I told you about the first situation, when I first came up here, one of the things I said, if they leave me alone, I'm going to leave them alone. If they come at me, if they attack me, if they bring me up in rooms I'm not in and think that I'm going to be cool with it, I'm a issue the same amount of pressure. Whatever you issue to me, I'm going to issue to you, and so forth and so on. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. So therefore, I have to tone down a lot, even with the Trina
See,
shit.
stuff like that scare me. Or going off on Rizzy don't scare me. Going off on that, thank you. Thank you. It's that's one of the fears over here, that somebody's gonna go too far. And I pray to God it's not me, with someone who you just didn't expect it. You know what I mean?
They fragile.
Because
Yeah, you
most
didn't know
of the
that. Right.
unalive, most of the people again who are, you do the statistics. Majority of the people who really do it, about 60 to 65% of their loved ones and people who know them said, "I didn't see that coming." I know, you know what I mean? Some of them didn't see it at all, and some of them like, "Well, I thought that was a little depressed, but not like that." It is that 35% who talk about it a lot, or that be like rare. Like that really don't, it don't go down like that.
Can
Right?
I interject?
Please, yeah.
Hey y'all.
Hello.
So I want to say, so my fiance, I don't know how to use the TikTok words. I'm gonna say committed the thing. I'm gonna just say it
Oh,
like that.
unalive himself.
Yeah. I don't know. You're right. Okay. And so I'm talking about at my home. I'm talking about with like a Mossberg. I'm talking about my children upstairs. I'm talking about on my back patio, right? So I'm saying this to say, before it happened, like it was a regular day. So there, like, I feel like that there are a lot of conversations that I hear sometimes, and I don't really say anything. But I just listen to the rhetoric that people, are speaking, and they say that, look for these signs, or they're not these signs, or people don't act this way, or people do act this way. And really, truth be told, there's no sign.
None.
There's
Let me tell you
absolutely no
something.
sign.
My
And
sister passed May 15th, 1990. About April 12th, 1989, my sister literally said out of her mouth, "If someone is stupid enough to commit suicide, they deserve to die." And that is an exact quote.
yeah.
So someone who feels that strongly about life and who has that type of mentality, you would never think 13 months later, and so that's why I say I don't really give a lot of credence to these people who holler and they just want to leave, just want to leave. Them people really is fighting for not to live. How do I say it? Like somebody who wants to commit suicide, they're fighting to go.
Yeah.
Other people be fighting to live. They don't really want to leave here. You know what I'm saying? But they hate it, but they don't really want to live here. Leave here. Those people who really do it, they out.
The thing is, and I'm gonna even go into that. Like,
So,
I remember that previously that I had conversations with him where he had said that he has, had a thing, and he's pulled the trigger, and it didn't. Those times it did not happen, right? And so it was that in that particular moment it did. You know what I'm saying? Like it did. So I understand cleaning up, my back porch before my children wake up. You see what I'm saying? Like I understand, because I got to take them to school and trying to gather myself, because I'm trying to figure out how I explain to them that this particular individual is gone, and I don't really have the words to explain to them why they're gone, but I'm just trying to say that maybe their mind was a little bit not right, or
let me
so
say,
I'm just saying that, like, we don't know. There are really, honestly, truthfully, there are no signs at all.
no,
We
and you
don't
have
know.
my
We don't
condolences.
know. And we can try to understand it as much as we can, but I had no idea. I literally had no idea. And I'm not gonna sit here and try to walk everybody through the moments and all of the time and all of that. But when I tell you the way that everything like kind of came together and I was able to put every piece back together, it was like, oh my God. It was not there weren't signs. There weren't
You know,
signs,
when
but
I
I was
was
able to
away,
put say that again.
when I was away, y'all know that little thing that happened to me earlier this year. Little girl was in there with me, right? And she was just going over all her life woes and all the things that had happened. And she said, "Well, I said, can you stay with your sister?" She said, "Yeah, I mean, I hope I can." She said, "But my sister lost her husband." And I was like, I said, "How old is your sister?" She was like, I think she said her sister's like 29. I said, "She lost her husband already. He was a military man."
Mm.
And literally, they all he drove them down to Florida, went to vacation on the beach, went out to the beach that day. She told me everything that happened. She said when they got to the hotel, literally standing there in the hotel lobby, while everybody was doing whatever, he did it right there in the lobby. She said they didn't see it coming. She said they did not see it coming.
Yeah.
And got young babies, wife young, under 30, all that. So, that's why I said I get irritated quickly when people want to get out here and be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, man, some people that they ain't trying to tell nobody because they don't want nobody to stop them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna blow your mind. But before I even say that, I'm gonna say this. I'm a MRI tech assist. But so that throughout that day, he told me, he said, Lindsay, anything that happens, my name is Lindsay. I just said it. But anyway, he said if anything were to happen, just know that it's not your fault. He said that prior to, right? But I'm gonna say that at that moment, I didn't get that. We carried on through the day and we text and we called and we just carried on, whatever. But the thing that I want to shed light on is Jada Pinkett's mom. I don't remember her name, but his mom was a mentor to Jada Pinkett's mom.
Okay.
Um,
What
and
they
reg-
call it? They don't even call it GAM. They call it GAM.
right. But way back when she was having her struggles. That's how far back that went, right? He was a CRACK baby. Okay. So there were a lot of other things that went on. Like God only knows
What he
what
saw.
that man went through, what he saw. There were stories that he told me where his mother had left him and he could hear conversations between the wall of them saying, we got to get this boy out of this house. Where's his mama? You know what I'm
And that's the
saying? And
stuff that we trying to tell some of these mothers over here on
right,
TikTok. Y'all
right,
don't understand that
right.
in 30 years, y'all children may want, or
Mm-hmm.
10 years, or 15 years, they may
Mm-hmm.
want to take themselves out because of
Mm-hmm.
decisions that's going on right now.
He had an admiration for Monique and like I said, Jada Pinkett's mom because of his mom, mentoring
He was from
Jada
Baltimore?
Pinkett. Yes, he was a Baltimore baby. Yeah.
Was
So
she was on C-Rack or was she on that needle? Because this is needle.
now I'm gonna be honest. I'm in NC, so we kind of met in a different way. But so I don't know what she was on. You know what I'm
But
saying?
J-Lump
Like,
was on the needle.
yeah,
And
but
Baltimore is like the number, I think they're number one. They were definitely number one for many years in
mhm.
the 80s and 90s. They were number one for that needle.
Man, listen, Keyona, I could tell you a whole story about like that, but ain't nobody got time to be hearing all of that. But honestly, like I could tell you a whole story, and I promise you, I would have everybody in shambles. Honestly,
How
but
old are your children?
my children now they're 12.
What when it happened?
When it happened, they were 5. So it wasn't
How
two.
old?
They were 5 when it happened.
Wow.
7 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago, and if I could be honest about it, we're still dealing with remnants of the situation, and I'm a be transparent. I deal with severe, anxiety and depression, and honestly, like, because nobody knows what it feels like to have somebody's brain in their hands. Okay, like nobody knows what that feels like.
You don't
And
realize how thick it is to,
yeah,
yeah, how thick
yeah,
and squirt, yeah. Especially
yeah.
blood is extremely difficult to
hmm
clean out.
and the thing, here's what got me about the whole situation was he was completely intact. I did not know exactly what happened. I saw the pool of everything, and
But he
I'm just
was
sitting here trying to do what I'm supposed to do,
right.
and that's when I went to lift his head and felt every piece of everything in my hands.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
yeah.
just saying that, like, we don't even know, y'all. Like, we
Have you
don't
been
know.
have
And
you been
really,
in counseling? You've been in you in counseling? Get the counseling, baby. Get the counseling.
right.
Yes,
It's lifelong. You're gonna have to probably do that for the
yeah.
rest of your
Let me
life.
tell you something. This year was 35 years. It doesn't, like, I was at the cemetery yesterday and I just, I had to quickly say, hey sis, you know what I'm saying? Da da da. But when I have to focus in on the fact that I have a sister who's not here, there's 365 days in a year. And I guarantee you, I think about her probably 340 of them. She crossed my mind. 35 years I ain't seen her. 35 years this past May. I haven't seen her. She gonna cross my mind at least 340 of the 365 we get every year.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna
When
take
you catch
me.
yourself being happy.
But no, I catch myself being angry, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying. I catch
Yeah.
myself I'd be angry about her sometimes being gone. I just haven't my mom. I kept telling my mom, even though I wasn't going to therapy myself, I still kept telling my mom, you need to go, you need to get some counseling, you need to get some counseling, because my mom was, making all those and we see it over here on Messy Talk when people do it, right? My mom had that, well, she was going with a dope dealer and the dope, it's like that didn't happen. You know what happened. You were there the couple weeks prior and what situation she was going through at that time. Where in the
Mm-hmm.
hell these dope drug dealers she was going with come in at?
Yeah.
No. She wasn't going with no damn drug dealer.
Yeah.
But you just couldn't tell my mom that. Like my sister was a hard, she worked to the day she left here. So it was like, where's that coming from? But she had just made up in her mind that her daughter was a stylish, beautiful girl, and she had to be dealing with a guy who wasn't good for her and something with whatever he had going on.
That's
And
your
I'll
mom.
never forget
That's your mom
she
rationalizing.
had wrapped her mind, and I
Yeah,
mean,
she
this
does.
lady knew the truth. She took my sister to one of her best good friends, who was a very well respected attorney in Decatur, Georgia. And his whole thing was, your mama got my number. Anything go wrong, call me. I'll be there in New York second. And when it happened, my mom called him and he said, oh, I told her, you know what I'm saying? So these people, they make you need that counseling, because you will definitely make up in your mind. Then also with the Christianity thing, how people were, oh, they ain't going to heaven, and so she was worried about that, and she was
Mm-hmm.
walking, you know what I mean? She was
You
walking the
said a
street.
mouthful then.
Yeah, she was walking the street one time, and a guy pulled her over and said, Trisha, I've been wanting to tell you this. I literally, because of your child, your daughter, I read the Bible from front to back, looking for where that says that, right? That she won't make it to heaven or whatever. And he said, I just want to tell you I didn't find it there. And that freed her. That helped with that. You know what I mean? And so and then she finally accepted and no, my sister was not dealing with no drug dealer, and da 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 da. So she kind of, like I said, you make up these whole everything in your head. And we've seen that on this app. I don't know if y'all was in AJ's panel with the young lady who took supposedly took her life in Texas. What's the girl name? We was fussing at her mom. And we tell her, like, you just gotta forgive yourself and then accept what happened with your child. That's what winds up happening. You have these whole different scenarios of what you think happened and what really happened. And you gotta, Aaliyah's mom, you gotta get that counseling. I wish my mom had gotten it earlier, and that was her child. So I would say a child, mother, father, son, daughter, but a spouse. I wouldn't want that.
Yeah. I just really wanted to come up here just to bring it to everybody's awareness and conscience that we don't know where anybody's mental state is, and we can assume that we understand what signs they might show when we feel as though a person may be in a certain headspace, but we honestly do not know.
But does it make you mad, being that you have seen that, felt that, touched that, dealing with that 24 hours a day now, and will for the rest of your life?
Right.
Does it make you mad when people trivialize it?
It does, and I'm on Messy Talk all day long, right? So I listen to a lot of the things that people say, and a lot of the things that people say about different people, and then when they try to say, oh, they're not serious about this, or they're not da 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 da, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I always, since that has happened, it's not too many people. I don't care how street you are. I don't care how hood you are. It's not too many people that can say too many things to me, because you ain't never held nobody's whole head in your hands. Okay? You have never had to take a water hose and wash somebody off of your back porch before your children wake up the next morning, and gather and scent yourself to act like you got some sense before your children wake up and carry on. So I just feel like it's not too many things that people can tell me, honestly, after that. But I just really just want people to understand that, my God, we really don't know. We really don't know. They don't show us. And the thing is, I'm gonna be very honest. We like to what is it, like, fantasize and say that, like, when somebody passes, that they were this great person and they was just this and this and this and this because they're no longer here. Here's the thing. He wasn't all of that, right? But I loved him and he loved me, right?
Listen,
and so
I come from a dark, you know how you have dark humor? I come from a dark humor family. I think we was in AJ's live yesterday, and it got dark, and I was like, I had to make a joke. And it's like, Key, I said, that's what I was, that person that did it for my family, so I'm gonna be the one who do it here. But we don't talk about my sister like, oh, she was this wonderful saint. We talk about all the goddamn shenanigans she pulled, all the stunts that she used to pull, like selling us her renting, like before there was the real. It was the real Lisa. That chick was, because she was fly. She was fly as hell. She still, 35 years later, people still remember how fly she was. But she would sell you her outfits, rent them to you rather. She would be like, okay, I need some money, $5 for my shirt, $10 for my ride boots. She would rent you her clothes. You know what I mean? And then, oh please, she would front you out. What you doing, my, And I loved her clothes, and that's the last thing she gave to me. She gave me every piece of clothing that she had, except for the ones that was on her back. And that was her telling me, hang in there. Life is tough and life is hard, but you don't want this. You don't want this. And that's why I say some people be fighting to live. So they be out here telling everybody, hey, I'm thinking about it. I don't want to let them people be fighting to leave here. That's why they be keeping it a secret, not saying too much, moving a certain way. They already handling business, making sure all the parts is together. They done. Yeah. They are done. Yeah. And it angers me when the people who just say listen, and I will, even a Rizzy, I will be like, all right, I could mess with you. Just say, you know what, like I may not have the life I want, but I would love to know how, because y'all know one of my favorite sayings, and I've taught y'all that you can take a losing hand and win, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with saying the cards that I've been dealt, I don't particularly care for them, and I wish I knew how I could change this hand,
Yeah.
because
But
that's
see,
how I live
yeah.
my life.
That's why I have a special. Rizzy has a special, but I don't even know her like that. You know, like I just be hearing her and seeing her on panels or whatever. But Rizzy and like what y'all was just talking about, Slim and all of that. I don't care whether they playing or not. You know, for me personally, I listen to every single
I respect
thing
that.
they gotta say. Like I
I don't try to
literally
convince anyone to be like,
right,
well, just
right,
because I'm not gonna do to her what she's doing to me.
yeah,
I'm
right,
not going to say, hey, I think Lizzie, you should not believe that Rizzy will do that.
right, right,
I never do
right.
that. But me personally, I don't like it. I don't, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? I'm from the, hey, if you really want to change the life that you live in and you don't like what you live in, hang up under some people who gonna tell you the truth, and
That's
you be
right.
able to
That's right.
handle the truth. Change the cards in your hand. I listen. They taught me how to play pity pat a long time ago, baby. I got two joke. You know what I'm saying? Jacks or let me throw that in. Hand me that one back. All you gotta do is play your hand.
Right.
Play your hand, and guess what? It's gonna always be somebody. But you know what I'm saying, lady? Play the
Mhm.
hand you dealt. Play it.
We
Don't quit
not right.
playing.
We not about to
Play
pay
it.
right. We not about to play pity pat. But I had a mama that's done tried to do a thing or two a couple of times in her life too. You know,
Yeah, me too.
so
Yeah,
you
my
know what I'm
mom was
saying. So it's
diagnosed. Yeah, my mom was
so
straight diagnosed with mental disorder.
yeah. So we're not going. So it's just that people like that have a special place in my heart. However, the thing that really messes me up and that bothers me the most about it is don't play on that.
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing right there. Is like
Yeah.
if you're really there, I sympathize and I'm like, let's get you the help or let's get you whatever it is that you need.
Right.
However,
Do
don't
you
sit
know
up
how
here and
it
be
feels
playing.
to come
Right.
from to have two biological who one medicated with the streetway and one medicated with all types of other things between gambling and men and having a good time and didn't ever deal with the substances or alcohol, but the other stuff. And then the other one was
Right.
alcohol and drugs. Do you know how it feels coming from two people, right? Who all of them damn near. The only thing I can say that neither one of them had, in my opinion, was schizophrenia. But the rest of them, the depression, anxiety, bipolar, I knew. Do you know how difficult that is to be trying to navigate your own life, knowing that you have already that predisposition?
Can I raise my hand, honey? Because after all of that happened, what you think I got going on?